First at noon, President Trump is wasting no time enacting his plans to step up border enforcement. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
As the Trump administration begins a major crackdown on illegal immigration, CBS News has learned U.S. border agents have been told to deport migrants crossing into the country illegally without allowing them to request asylum. While the Biden administration enacted its own asylum restrictions last June, migrants could still plead their case if they expressed fear of being harmed once deported.
President Trump's new leadership at the Justice Department also sent a memo Wednesday directing employees to step up immigration enforcement and investigate any state or local officials who might try to obstruct new policies.
So sanctuary cities are going to get exactly what they don't want. More agents in the communities, more people arrested, more collaterals arrested. So that's a game they want to play. Game on.
Tom Homan, who President Trump calls his border czar, says targeted immigration enforcement operations are underway with hundreds of arrests already. Immigration advocates nationwide, including in Miami, say they're working to educate people of their rights.
One of the main things that we're working on is making sure that our community has the tools necessary to protect themselves with the upcoming threats.
Over on Capitol Hill, House Republicans announced a new select panel to investigate events leading up to January 6th. It comes as Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio, convicted of seditious conspiracy, was released from prison.
The miscarriage of justice that happened in these cases, regardless if somebody agrees with putting their hands on a police officer and whatnot, how the process worked out was unfair.
Before Trump's pardon, Tarrio had been serving a 22-year sentence in one of the most high-profile cases related to the January 6th Capitol assault. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
President Trump also issued an executive order calling for the Coast Guard to boost its presence in key areas. Now, that includes the maritime border around Hawaii. Officials say that'll include cutters, aircraft, boats, and other deployable specialized forces with the aim to detect and deter illegal migration, drug smuggling, and other hostile activity. And this comes as the Trump administration has removed the commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard. Admiral Linda Fagan was the first female uniformed leader of a U.S. Armed Forces branch. A Department of Homeland Security official said the reason for her removal included a failure to address border security threats and excessive focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Fagan's firing came just hours after President Trump was inaugurated. Before she assumed commandant duties, Fagan led the Coast Guard Pacific area. Authorities suspended the search for two missing teens on Oahu's North Shore at sunset yesterday. 17-year-old Samantha Chun and 18-year-old Joseph Fujioka were reported missing after they failed to return home Friday night. The Honolulu Fire Department said human remains were found Saturday afternoon just off Keiki Beach, but there is no confirmation at this time that the remains are connected to the teens. Meanwhile, the Honolulu Police Department's missing persons detail is continuing its investigation. Now to an arrest in a nearly 50-year-old cold case murder investigation. Honolulu police recently linked DNA found on the body of 16-year-old McKinley High School student Don Momohara to 66-year-old Gideon Castro, who is now in custody in connection with the 1977 murder. Momohara was found dead on campus in March of that year with signs of strangulation and sex assault.
Earlier this month, detectives from the Homicide Strategic Enforcement Detail traveled to Utah and obtained a surreptitious biological sample from Gideon. That sample was sent to the HPD DNA criminalists, who compared that sample with the unidentified male. It was determined that the DNA profile obtained from the evidence matched the DNA profile of Gideon Castro.
Castro was arrested at his Salt Lake City, Utah nursing home yesterday morning. The 1976 McKinley High grad will now be extradited to Honolulu. A man set on fire while sleeping in a limousine in Kalihi last month has died. HPD has now reclassified it as a murder case in the second degree after the 33-year-old victim died from his injuries in the hospital Tuesday morning. Police say on December 27th, 3 suspects threw an unknown liquid on the victim and set him on fire in the parking lot in the park limo on Awiki Street. 2 suspects who were arrested have been released pending investigation. Charges are also pending. At least one student was killed and another wounded at a school shooting in Tennessee today. Nashville police say a 17-year-old student with a pistol walked into the Antioch High School cafeteria and fired multiple shots just after 11 this morning. Both shooting victims were female students. The school has about 2,000 students. Police say they are still investigating the shooter's motive. And mandatory evacuation orders and warnings have been issued for another fast-moving wildfire in northern Los Angeles County. Called the Hughes Fire, it started near Castaic Lake at around 11:30 a.m. Fire officials say the blaze burned about 500 acres in an hour, and at last check, it scorched more than 5,000 acres. Extremely low humidity combined with Santa Ana winds are fueling the blaze.
And happy Wednesday, everybody. We're tracking that cold front that's moving across the state right now. You can see a wide view of it. It's moving across the entire island chain. I want to zoom in a little bit closer because we have been seeing some rainfall throughout this morning, and also we're expecting some rainfall throughout this evening as well. You can see the band of moisture right now that we've been tracking. It was over Oahu early over the last couple of hours, but it's starting to move closer to Maui County. Zooming in a little bit closer right now, it's just impacting Molokai, and it's expected to stall around Maui County later this evening. We could also see some showers over Oahu as we go throughout the rest of this afternoon and evening. Really, it's just impacting Molokai, some heavier pockets of showers. Right now, we're not detecting any lightning on the radar. Coming up in my first alert full forecast, I'll give you a closer look at the radar and also talk about what you can expect throughout the rest of this evening.
Much, Drew. On Maui, the State Transportation Department unveiled the newly expanded passenger hold room at Kahului Airport. The new 17,000 square foot space, which serves gates 1 to 15 in the airport's southern concourse, can seat about 460 passengers. There's also a new garden deck for outdoor seating as travelers wait for their flights.
The designers who created this magically created a wonderful space for all of us to enjoy. It's amazing. Air travel can be busy, and so anything that we can do to improve the passenger experience is our priority.
DOT officials say the $62 million project is part of the state's commitment to modernize Hawaii's airports. In his third State of the State address, Governor Josh Green looks to cut taxes, saving Hawaii residents billions of dollars. He also promised more affordable housing. In his speech, he highlighted his administration's accomplishments over the past 2 years in a range of issues, including affordability, housing, homelessness, healthcare, public safety, and the environment. Green talked about cutting taxes, including the income tax rate, which would save families $5.6 billion over several years. He also highlighted 46,000 new affordable housing units statewide.
Combined efforts are now paying dividends. Affordable housing measures we passed over these 2 years are now fueling a surge in workforce and low-income housing all across our islands.
He also touted his effort to combat homelessness. He says there was just one kauhale, a complex of tiny homes for homeless families, when he was lieutenant governor, and now there are 17. The governor also addressed Maui's wildfire recovery in yesterday's address. He says there's been $500 million in initiatives to create more than 3,000 housing units for displaced families. He says 99% of those displaced are now in long-term housing. UH economic researchers estimate out of the more than 5,000 displaced, nearly 250 moved out of state.
We could say a bunch of different things, but what are we putting into action? Many of my ohana have moved away, my friends, my neighbors, and my heart really hurts. Many families have tried their hardest to do what it takes to stay here, and they just cannot in order to survive.
Governor Green says he requested more than $350 million from the state budget over the next 2 years toward ongoing recovery efforts and disaster response. And happening today, Maui County will hold a webinar to discuss the recovery process in Lahaina. It's part of the county's new schedule to meet twice a month, once in person and once online. Today's webinar will include topics like the temporary disposal site, Sewer updates and updates to recovery funds. It starts at 5:30 p.m. For information on how to join, just head to the website at the bottom of your screen. Also on the Valley Isle, the Maui Humane Society is looking for residents to open their hearts and their homes. The organization says their shelter capacity is at dangerous levels, and they may be forced to euthanize animals due to a lack of space. They are calling it a worst-case scenario. But some good news, since a call for help last week, 45 animals have been adopted, but of course more help is needed. Head to mauihumanesociety.org to start. January is Blood Donor Month, and the City and County of Honolulu and its employees are getting ready to donate blood to help address the ongoing shortage. Casey Lund has the details.
Aloha, we're just out in front of Honolulu Hale, inside the Bloodmobile for the Blood Bank of Hawaii. I want to talk really quickly about the awesome thing that they're doing for Blood Donor Month. In the month of January, if you donate at their Waikele or Young Street locations, you're entered to win a chance to go to Awana. 2 tickets to that new Cirque du Soleil show in Waikiki. They're also giving away 2 pairs of tickets to the Waikai Aqua Venture. So you donate in person. You can also go follow them on Instagram, tag a friend. You'll be entered to win. It's good stuff. We're talking with the city and county employees that are donating, though. Ian Shearing, Deputy Communications Director, is with us this Wednesday. Why is it important for you to donate?
So many reasons. You know, we talked about it in the last hour. Just that appreciation you develop for the people here on the bus, the people in our first responder agencies, the people who work in the medical field, about the sacrifices they make to keep other people safe. You know, we've had some tragic events to start this year, right? A tragedy, the fireworks explosion in Aliamanu, a fire, a house fire in town. And so the sacrifices that our first responders make, that our medical professionals make to keep other people safe, especially in times of need, if giving blood is just that one simple thing that you can do, right? You may not be out there running into burning homes to try to rescue somebody, but if I can sit here for 15 minutes, donate some blood that's going to end up making a difference in somebody's life, you know, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, and we talked with Dr. Kim On Win with the Blood Bank of Hawaii. So they're in this network, right, where we have those big disasters, and whether it be in California, the hurricanes, the Blood Bank of Hawaii is able to support those folks like when we are low, those networks support us. So giving your blood might not just help somebody here, could even go to help somebody that's going through a really terrible disaster as well, though the need is very good and very great, I should say, right here in Hawaii. We know platelets and type O are really needed, but really all blood types, they tell me. So set up a blood drive, you can donate. And how are you feeling? That took all of about
5 minutes. And 5 minutes is kind of slow. I'm a little disappointed in my performance today. But you guys are really getting the full experience here. Yeah. As soon as they take the needle out, hold your hand up until we're ready to get all bandaged up here. And what's that? Put my hand
yeah. I'm going to get out of the way because they are turning and burning, folks. We're getting a lot of donations. 40, I think, was the goal. They're well on their way to do that. If you would like to set up your own blood drive, you can do that. Just contact the Blood Bank of Hawaii at bbh.org. That's also where you can go to learn about blood drives in your area and that giveaway that they're doing. It goes until February 28th. Reporting at Honolulu Hale, I'm Casey Lund. We'll send things back to you for now.
Thank you, Case, and thank you, Ian, for saving lives. Well, ahead on This Is Now, Honolulu Crime Stoppers need your help solving some cases. We have your weekly crime roundup in 2 minutes, plus this.
After historic snowfall, the Gulf Coast is wrangling with icy conditions. I'm Skyler Henry in Tallahassee, Florida, with the bitter cold chilling the region.
time for our weekly crime roundup. Joining us now is Sergeant Chris Kim from Honolulu Crime Stoppers with 3 new cases police need your help with. What do you have for us today?
The first case is a fraudulent use of credit card, basically a stolen credit card. As far as this case on Wednesday, November 13, 2024, at about 9:03 p.m., this male entered the Ke'eaumoku Walmart and used a stolen credit card to make purchases. He then fled. He's been described as an unknown male, with medium build, wearing a black shirt, black shorts, and he was accompanied by this male person of interest wearing this all in white. I don't know if you folks have the video, but it is on our website.
In the back there?
Later. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, our second case is a theft in the second degree on Saturday, October 26, 2024, at about 1:47 p.m. These 3 individuals entered a retail establishment over in the Pearl Ridge area and began to select various clothing items and then fled. They were then stopped outside of the store, at which time they were able to drop all the items and fled. But regardless, you know, the act of theft was committed, although they didn't get away with the merchandise, it's still considered theft. It's been classified as theft in the second degree, meaning that the total value of the items taken was over $750. And finally, we have a theft in the second degree on Wednesday, December 18, 2024, at about 3:15 p.m. This male entered a jewelry store in the Pearl Ridge area, asked the employee to see a gold necklace, and when the employee handed him the gold necklace, he then fled. He's been described as an unknown male with a medium build, fair complexion, wearing a black hat, sunglasses, a white shirt, and black pants. All 3 cases we talked about today can be seen over at the www.honopedia.org website, bottom left-hand corner under wanted persons, as well as all the other cases that we need the help from the community in solving.
Thank you, Chris. And we want to tell our viewers this is Sergeant Kim's last segment with us because you're moving on to a new opportunity.
Yes.
And again, just thank you so much from all of us here at HNN and just the media community in general for being so open and transparent with us and just helping us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you to Hawaii News Now. Thank you to all the media outlets, all our partnerships, but most of all, you know, the whole island of Oahu. And the state of Hawaii, just kind of rallying together. Once again, you know, my mission during this 7-year tenure with Crime Stoppers was just trying to do my part in getting everybody to kind of rally together and combating crime within your community and keeping our island home safe. So thank you to everybody. I wish you all the best.
You definitely made an impact, and we're going to miss you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Drew, take it away.
Thanks again, Chris. Stick around. Coming up after the break, I'll give you a look at our first alert weather headlines. We've got a cold front we're tracking and rainfall. The first alert radar and satellite is coming up.
Now, First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
Well, happy Wednesday, everybody. Let's take a look at our first alert weather headlines. Of course, we've been giving you the first alert about that cold front all week long. We also are expecting some elevated surf on north and west facing shores throughout today and tomorrow. Also, north facing shores will stay elevated throughout Friday. So let's take a look at our first alert radar and satellite out there. You can see we've got a couple of showers out there. That band of moisture and the cold front continues to move across the entire island chain right now. We're expecting it to stall in between Maui and Hawaii Island. As we were saying earlier, most of the moisture is impacting Molokai right now, but we're expecting these showers to continue moving eastward towards Lanai and Maui, and we're also seeing some lighter showers moving in towards the North Shore and the leeward portions of Oahu. So we're going to continue to see that throughout this afternoon. Breaking down the overall weather pattern, I want to walk through our first alert futurecast and our checklist. It's 73 degrees out there, very cool. You don't need your shades today because of the cloud cover. You'll need your umbrella because we could still see some showers out there, and of course your surfboard. Taking a quick look at your first alert futurecast going forward throughout the rest of this evening. This is 3 p.m. You can continue to see the band of moisture stalling over Maui County throughout this evening, and then starts to fall apart in between Maui and Hawaii Island early Thursday morning. Some showers are still possible tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon. Taking a look at our first alert windcast, northerly winds will continue behind the front. Southerly winds over near Hawaii Island. We'll start to see the trade winds return by the time we get to Friday afternoon. And your surf and shoreline forecast, we're on the rise on north-facing shores, 10 to 14 feet, west-facing shores around 7 to 10 for Wednesday afternoon. Still tracking some box jellies out there. And your swell forecast, you can see all of that energy with the associated low pressure system. The storm causing this cold front to our north keeps surf elevated throughout Thursday and Friday. Your first alert 7-day forecast today and tomorrow highlighted in red because of that cold front. We're not going to be seeing 150 mile per hour winds. It's 5 to 10 mile per hour winds. That's just a little bit of a mistake, but beautiful weather expected throughout Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Thank you, Drew. A historic winter storm is bringing freezing weather to much of the south after dumping record snowfall on the region and creating icy conditions. The system created a winter wonderland from Texas to Florida, but has also been dangerous and is blamed for multiple deaths. Skylar Henry reports from Tallahassee, Florida.
The once-in-a-lifetime winter storm in the south left behind snowfall totals Houston residents and first responders have rarely experienced.
The first thing I did was look out my window. I was like, yo, this is awesome.
4, 5, 6 inches of snow.
Parts of New Orleans were buried under 10 inches, more than 3 times the city's previous snowfall record.
We've been doing everything that we can to let people know that they should stay at home.
But some people are having fun. This man using the Big Easy's icy streets to play Hockey Tuesday. In Gulf Shores, Alabama, snow blanketed beachfronts for the first time.
There's just no words to describe it. Snow on the beach, who would have thought?
In snow-capped Tallahassee, the roads are still treacherous, making for dangerous driving conditions for many who are out on the roads. You can see still a sheet of ice here, not only on the main roadways, but on the sidewalks themselves. The winter weather forced officials to shut down a 65-mile stretch of Interstate 10 in the Florida Panhandle.
It was not another car or truck on the interstate, it was scary. It was freaky.
In Pensacola, more than 7.5 inches of snow shattered the previous record set in 1895. Officials say streets in northern Florida could be covered for days, with temperatures below freezing. Colder wind chills are also settling in for much of the deep south this week. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Tallahassee, Florida.
Still to come, how a zoo in Japan cheered up an apparently depressed sunfish. It's a story you need to see in 2 minutes. Time for some good news. Sunfish need love too. That's what workers at a Japanese aquarium found out when the Kaikyokan aquarium shut down temporarily for renovations and no visitors were around. The sunfish lost its appetite and appeared depressed. So the innovative staff there made cutouts of human faces and pasted them on the sunfish enclosure to keep it company. And it worked. The sunfish is eating more and goes up to the cutouts sometimes to check them out. Now grab your popcorn and your tomatoes.
It's time for a look back at some of the worst movies of the year with the Razzie Awards. Joker, Folie à Deux, leads the pack with 7 nominations, including Worst Picture and Worst Actor and Actress for Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. The other worst movies of 2024 each had 6 nominations: video game adaptation Borderlands, comic book movie Madam Web, and Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, and the biographical drama Reagan. Find out the winners the day before the Oscars. And I heard a lot about all of these movies.
Have you seen any of them?
No, I didn't.
Me neither.
Everybody just panned them online. I was really excited for Joker.
Yeah.
I avoided the trailers because I loved the first one, and apparently it was terrible.